that. But man, because I was doing a lot of stuff like in my middle school and high school years. I just wasn't really sharing it with a lot of people like that. But it was like little side projects. But really more so like my junior year in high school, I just was keeping the stuff like off the shelf because I'm trying to focus on what I thinking everybody else want engaging in, you know, on the little street stuff back then. But really like junior year, 2007, and it was the year that the first version of Android was released. So just kind of tiptoeing around that on the back end. And then just learning little stuff, but I really didn't get too comfortable sharing what I knew like that till I got like in my early 20s, starting my business and stuff. And at first, it was really just like learning how to build Android apps for some of our friends that we was losing and things like that. But I wasn't telling nobody it was like me building the apps and stuff because I ain't, you know how the confidence be sometimes. I'm like, if people notice my stuff, they ain't gonna use it. So it was popping around St. Louis for like a little local community though.
Right. So how would you say that your friends did influence that in a way?
Man, so like you got it's like different at different from it's just how what I'm focusing on. So it's like if I'm focusing on like these are some of the problems that I was like thinking about that I probably could help out with. You got technical problems, so you got real life problems with like you gotta do certain things to get some of these people out the way that's murdering your friends because you might be the next victim. So like on technical problems versus like real life stuff. Say like at one funeral they might run out of color obituaries, a couple hundred people. At the other guy's funeral, the family members may be mad about like what like local news media was saying. So I'm like listening to different problems on the technical side, thinking like, all right, if I could build a let out where I could like scan my color obituary where they could just share it seamlessly, maybe add this little comment box or something like that. Now it's kind of like standard, even though back then Black Planet, Bebo, MySpace all had image sharing and comment boxing and stuff like that, but it wasn't really tailored to his memorials like that. So I'm thinking about like, man, if I could like basically build an app that can help with some of these problems that I'm hearing that people experiencing at these funeral homes, just on the technical side, that's like really how it started for me. And then, like I say, a couple years later, I'm like, all right, let me build this little app, share it with a few folks, and then it started growing really from that. As far as
Right.
like
So and I know you mentioned the virtual funerals. And I see a lot of people use those virtual funerals now. So would you say in a way you created the blueprint for that?
oh, that's a good one, man. We actually what we was doing to keep it real, we was creating like online obituaries, um, which we was calling them online memorials in a sense. So that's what I would say we was doing more so than like streaming from the actual funeral site. And it was funny actually that you asked that. It was a few like people that invited us, like as we started doing like bigger databases aside from just my personal friends, like the database for um like the victims of Sandy Hook, when Heavy D passed away and things like that. It was like friends of the family, not necessarily like his close relatives, that was inviting us to the funeral and things like that, because we was trying to volunteer and like just do these services for some, and do some good things for some people. So a few families actually started to invite us, but we was like, nah, we ain't trying to do all of that. We was just doing everything on the back end. But now that would be dope though to say that. But I definitely can say, far as trying to create like this, um, trying to centralize these memorials in a sense, that was something that I was pushing real hard, because I started doing my research, like even in St. Louis for like the which they got some good platforms, because these funeral homes ain't no tech companies like that. So I don't look at them to be doing all of that. But still,
Right.
when you look at like William C. Harris, Austin Lane, et cetera, it's like most of them using like the same little software company based out in Cali. They got like the same set of features, the same type of theme on the back end and stuff like that. It ain't really too much freedom with it. And then you have to go to this funeral home, this funeral home, this funeral home. So for us who got 10, 20 guys that's passed, even though most are at these local funeral homes, it still make it easier just to commemorate them in one way on one app. And taking it further, even though I can get to talking to Wayne on this question yet, but like connecting with like different people, as which we talk about this more when we talk about the New York stuff, but connecting with different people like at Skype, that's putting me on game, teaching me about NoSQL, different little technologies that I could add to the app that can make the app accessible offline or online. Usually with these .com funeral homes, unless we connected to the internet, we can't access them. So yeah, I started getting deep into